Welcome back. Before we dive into installing the plugins you'll need for this workflow, I want to quickly mention that the only way I can afford to keep this course free is with affiliate links. All the paid plugins I mention in this section are linked to in the description below the video, and if you use those links, it won't cost you anything extra, but it will help support this course and mean I can keep offering it for free. So let's start with the free plugins. First up are the ones you don't even need to install, ReaComp and ReaLimit. That's Reaper's built-in compressor and limiter plugins. I'm going to recommend more powerful compressor and limiter plugins, but it's entirely reasonable to stick with the versions included in Reaper. However, one of the plugins included in Reaper, ReaEQ, is not the best free option for a parametric equalizer. Instead, let's install Ozone 11 EQ, which I still use in my own setup alongside paid EQ plugins for identifying resonances and applying basic static EQ changes. Predominantly, to be honest, I use it for low roll-offs and low shelves. To install Ozone 11 EQ, you need to go to its page on the Native Instruments website. Here, it's linked to in the description. Once it's installed, Reaper will detect it next time you launch it, although you can force detection of plugins in Reaper. Let me just quickly show you how to do that. If you've got Reaper open, click Reaper at the top left, click Settings, scroll down all the way down on the left-hand side to Plugins and VST, and just click Rescan and then rescan VST paths for new/modified plugins. It saves you just the time of having to close and reopen Reaper. Our second free plugin actually has to be installed in an entirely different way using ReaPack, which is a Reaper-specific package manager. To install ReaPack, you need to go to reapack.com and download it there. It's installed pretty much the same way SWS/S&M was in the previous video, and to have this active in Reaper, you will need to close and open Reaper for it to be detected. Once ReaPack is installed, open up Reaper, click here on Extensions, then select ReaPack, and then Manage Repositories. It is entirely possible, and I hope that it has worked on your end, but it is possible that the repository package is already here for you. If not, then copy the link that's in the description, which is which will link you to this link here, and add it as a repository by going Import Repositories. You just paste it in there. You click OK. It'll add it to the list. You then can click Browse Packages, and it will pull up all the packages that ReaPack links to. The one that we are searching for is, reaching out to my awkwardly placed keyboard again, TriLeveller. There we are, TriLeveller 2. Give that a click. Actions, install V1. And you just follow that process through until you've got TriLeveller installed. We'll return back to actually setting these plugins up and the rest of the ones in this video in a later video. We're not going to be setting up the plugins in this video. Next is iZotope RX11 or RX10, RX9 if you've got an older version already, which is pretty much the only absolutely essential thing that you're not going to be able to avoid buying, because it is just too important for creating good quality recordings. There are 3 versions of RX11, but for our purposes, we can ignore the advanced version because it's massively overkill for what we're doing. There are a lot of plugins that come with even the cheaper Elements version, many of which can be useful once you come to tweaking your workflow in the future. But for our purposes, the ones we're most interested in are Voice Denoise, which is in all versions of RX, and Mouth Declick, which is not available in Elements. There is a more basic plugin called Declick, which is included in Elements, and I am going to cover using it if you can't stretch to RX11 standard. But Mouth Declick is one of the most useful plugins I have ever come across. Whichever version you go for, use the links in the description to buy from Plugin Boutique. I'll bring you up to this site. You just search for RX11. The price is the same as buying directly from the iZotope website, but they do not have an affiliate program. So to support my course and keep it free, please buy via the link to Plugin Boutique. Next up are a trio of plugins from Sonible, which, again, you can purchase using the links in the description if you want to support the course. That'll bring you up to the Sonible homepage, and you can browse the products from there. The 3 plugin families I recommend are the EQ, Compressor, and Limiter plugins, and each is available in 2 versions. The Pure versions are more straightforward, they're easier to set up and great for beginners, and the Smart versions are significantly more advanced. And my recommendations actually depend on which type of plugin we're talking about. For the limiter, there is some benefit to using PureLimit over Reaper's built-in ReaLimit, and given PureLimit's relatively cheap price, it is worth buying. But Smart Limit is significantly more useful in terms of audiobook narration because it does a fantastic job at helping hit the required RMS levels. That said, you can do absolutely fine without spending the money. In terms of compressors, Reaper's built-in ReaComp is pretty fantastic. In fact, it's outstanding for a free compressor. Although it's not quite as user-friendly as either PureComp or Smart Comp 2. Unlike with the limiter, I don't think there are that many advantages to getting the Smart version over the Pure version, although if you're buying via a multi-plugin package, then Smart Comp 2 is still worth getting. And the same goes for getting PureComp if you're getting a multi-plugin package that is, well, the Pure bundle, as you can actually see on screen right here. They're advertising it at the moment. However, if you're buying these plugins individually and you want to avoid some spend, this is the one to cut. Last, but far from least, are the EQ plugins, Pure EQ and Smart EQ4. Pure EQ is fantastic, and if you're going down the cheaper route, you won't regret buying it, as it uses AI to do all your EQing for you. Smart EQ4, however, is absolutely phenomenal, and it starts with what Pure EQ can do, and it just keeps on going and going. And I've recently been playing around with its main competitor, which is a FabFilter Q4. And yeah, definitely still recommend Smart EQ4. EQing makes an enormous difference to how we sound in narrative work. And if you're wanting the best sound possible without needing to develop EQ knowledge and skills yourself, I cannot over-egg just how fantastic this plugin is. It does everything, as I said, that FabFilter Pro Q4 does, but it's much less prone to pre-ringing. That's a technical term for a very annoying artifact that can occur when you're EQing. And for a pure spoken word workflow, it is the pinnacle of what I've tried out. You'll also see a plugin called Smart DeEss on Sonible's website, and it may interest you. It's a very clever and effective plugin, but I don't think it provides enough additive value over the RX11 equivalent, which you'll already have access to. It just doesn't warrant the additional purchase. However, between writing the script for this course and recording it today, PureDeEss was released, and it came out 3 days ago, I think, and I've been playing around it. I still don't think it's particularly necessary for male voices, which are significantly less prone to sibilance. But for female voices, I have been absolutely blown away by PureDeEss and how effective it's been. I was not going to recommend any paid DeEss plugin in this course, and actually, going off script, I really do recommend this. And to be honest, if you're going for one of the Pure bundles, you're going to end up with this included anyway. Once you've bought whichever plugins you want to use and have installed them, that's pretty much it in terms of your setup costs for your workflow. And it's entirely plausible for you to have stuck with free options. We'll be looking at each type of plugin separately, one type per video. So don't worry if it all seems a bit overwhelming right now. It will all start to make sense soon. See you in the next video.